And I think that the important thing that I've talked with a lot of agents about is just really discovering what their value is, and not just what your value is, but how are you demonstrating it and articulating it to your prospective clients. Ultimately, this is a relationship business, and you have to, and it's never going to change. It's always going to be a relationship business.
Hey everyone, Shauna Martinez here from Dallas-Fort Worth, and today I have a special guest. This is Jason Wright. He is not only a producing agent in California, but he's also a Tom Ferry coach. So I hope you get a lot of value out of today's call, but I'm gonna just kind of turn it over to Jason. And if he could just give us a little bit of his background, where he's from, what he does, his business, and then we're gonna answer some topics and talk about some topics that are very relevant to today's business. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off. Jason, go ahead.
Hey everybody, my name is Jason Wright. I am a coach for Tom Ferry, Ferry International. I'm also, just like a lot of you, a producing agent in the real estate marketplace. I live down here in South Orange County in California, and I've been selling real estate since about 2016, but have a deeper background in just everything around real estate as a home builder before that. So excited to be here today and answer questions just about everything going on in the world of real estate. So I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, super excited to have you on and to get your perspective, because I know that you guys have been kind of talking about everything that's going on with the changes in our industry. And so hearing someone who's in the trenches every single day and just not from the top, I think is going to bring some value to people. So having said that, with the changes that are coming, and let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? All the changes with the NAR and DOJ, everything that's going on. What are you telling your agents? How are you guys kind of combating, and what are you focusing on? And are you listening to any of the outside noise and all the misinformation?
Yeah. So, there's a lot to dissect in what's happening in the real estate marketplace right now. And I think that, it's funny because we've all been preparing for this, for several months, right? Going back 3 months now, and it's prepare. But what were we preparing for? And I think that the important thing that I've talked with a lot of agents about is just really discovering what their value is, and not just what your value is, but how are you demonstrating it and articulating it to your prospective clients. Ultimately, this is a relationship business, and you have to, and it's never going to change. It's always going to be a relationship business. You need to build your relationships and strengthen your skills around your value. Mm-hmm. And if you've taken time to prepare yourself for those changes and how you articulate that, you probably have a lot of energy in this business right now because you're eager to go and talk with your consumers about these changes and take the conflict straight on. If you haven't spent time doing that, you might be a little bit more apprehensive. And I think that's what we're starting to see, is there's that division between the agents that have prepared for this and they know how to articulate their value and they're excited to go talk to their consumer base, and the agents that are kind of like a little fearful and maybe have a little anxiety about it. So yeah. I think that's really what we're seeing in these early stages of these changes.
I agree with you 100%. I actually put on an event yesterday to go over the changes. There were about 50 agents that showed up, and the amount of agents that still don't know how to even talk to the consumer. And that's really what this Zoom Mastermind was about, how to relay this information to consumers. Because like you said, you have to say it in a clear and concise way. And I think the biggest hiccup in our business is it's a very, I feel like it's too easy entry into our business and into the real estate world. And a lot of people don't focus on their skill set. And I can tell you that I get way more transactions and more business from people who know that I am skilled in what I do. I know how to talk to people. I can explain things in a clear and concise manner. And I think the agents that don't, I think I'm right there with you. I think that it's going to divide us even more than we are so already, because less than 48% or more than 48% of agents only did one transaction in the last 12 months. And those are not the people that you want sitting at your kitchen table talking to you about selling your house and getting top dollar, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think, that's great. Yeah. So
another thing, one more topic on that is, I was fortunate enough just the other day, like we were talking around kind of like, how are these conversations coming to us right now in the immediate impact as these changes have just now taken place, and it's like you're prepared, but now it's reality. It's here, it's happening. The conversations are real. And so just the other day, I was sitting down and was fortunate enough to be sitting with Tim Smith and Tom Ferry and some other people from the
Wow.
team talking through what some of these scripts are, and had a chance to really role play some of these scripts with Tom, and kind of like how these conversations are going, and how, and I won't dive too much into it, but I will say that the overall arching message was, how are we removing barriers? At the end of the day, these consumers want us to market and help them sell their house, or they want to come and see the house. And it's like, this puts a lot of confusion in front of that. And I think that we need to remove those barriers so that we can provide the service to allow them to do what they want to do at the end of the day, which is buy a house or sell a house. And really, we have to try to get out of our own way by making this process change. That's really what this is. It's a simple process change. We have a couple new processes of how we're going about doing our job as realtors, and how we express those process changes, and really just like take the air out of the room is a big deal right now.
Well, I think you said a couple of things that were very, very good points. And what I'm finding is, because I've been on at least 20 listing appointments in the last 3 weeks, and I will tell you, not one seller has objected to me talking to them about the compensation and how things are working now and things like that. And I will tell you this also, is that most consumers don't even know what's going on. Because we're all hearing about it on the real estate side. I'm in all these different Facebook groups, and the amount of misinformation out there is pretty astronomical, which goes to show you that there's still so much education that needs to be done, and just consuming it from an agent side. But it's also like, the drunk monkey is us. Like, we love to overcomplicate things, and it is not complicated. And I think the more people can simplify what's going on and understand it, and be able to say it in a clear and concise manner, like you said, I think, because sellers just want what they want. The buyer wants what they want. We just need to help them get to that goal. And I think if you're able to do that and focus on the relationships, your business will continue to grow, and you continue and have better business. I'm a big relationship person. I think relationships is the best way to build your business. And so, having said that, what are some things that you see that are common mistakes that you see agents making in their business, that if they just knew this up front, they could probably avoid a lot of pain and heartache?
Yeah, I mean, there's a deep question. So, mistakes agents make in their business. I mean, there's a plethora of mistakes that I see agents making in their business, but I think the number one mistake that I see is not running their business like a business, right? I think that when you go to an agent that's starting out, having strong foundations of how you build your business, just like any other business, are you set up operationally? Are you set up with the proper marketing channels, and do you have systems and processes to do that? Do you have a great sales department, which is how you communicate with people and how you ultimately set those appointments so that you get the opportunities to ultimately close? And then, are you set up to recruit and grow and scale your business? And I think from operational standpoints, we just need to be sure that we are set up with those 4 divisions, because they all complement each other. And if you just break it down into different divisions of your company and execute, you have a sense of accountability to grow your business. And so I think that starting with strong foundations is probably the number one thing. And then, I don't think this is a business that you master. I don't think anything is truly something that you master. I think everything that you do in your life is something that you practice. And with practice comes sharpening your skills. And I think we constantly need to be, and this is like what's happening right now is almost a prime example of why we need to focus on our skills right now. If you are focused on your skills and your conversations around what's going on. And I'll give you a great thing. Tom just, a couple of days ago said, look, number one rule of conflict management is go straight into it, right? Like, if you have the skills to be able to communicate what's going on, you're not afraid of it. You go into it, you go straight at it, and you just say, hey, look, let's address the monkey in the room, right? Let's address this. Like, hey, look, there's a whole lot of process changes of how we're practicing real estate. I'm sure you've read the headlines, and the headlines could be scary. Let me talk to you about what it is, and just go at it and explain it to people. I think you deflate the situation, you remove barriers. And so that's one of those prime examples of things that we need to do right now to sharpen our axe. You need to be ready to really hone in on your skills.
Well, speaking of skill set, like, what are some of the things that you think that agents need to be focusing on as far as their skill set? Like, I know when I went from a buyer's-based business to a listed-based business, because I was challenged by Tom Ferry 6 years ago to do the 100 listing appointment challenge, I I didn't have the skill at all. I didn't know how to do a listing presentation. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know how to talk to sellers. I didn't know how to overcome objections. And I did that through going on 101 listing appointments in 4 months. And then now I'm a dominating listing agent in my market, and I'm 100% by referral just in 6 years. So like, I know how important it was for me to role play. Like you talked about role play. How many millions or billions of dollars are you guys doing in production every year? And you're still saying we role play.
Well, I mean, look, I role play every day, right?
Oh, I have that too.
I role play every day. I have the poster on my wall over there. So I'm very, look, that's something you practice, not something you master, right? So it's like, if you are a practitioner of your business, you are going to get better. And I think that that's a critical part. I think that role playing and really the art of doing. I mean, we can sit here and say all day long, make your calls, make your calls, make your calls. But like, the more calls you make, the better you get at communication. The more calls you make, the more objections you hear, and the more skills you get to, hey, that was a really good question. Like, how can I answer that better? So I think that as long as we are practitioners of our business and we continue to work on our skills and continue to role play, that's ultimately how we grow. And that's where true growth and scalability comes from, is the practice of doing.
Well, you don't want to practice on your potential clients either.
Right. And I mean, but even you went on 102 listing appointments, and how much better did you get with every appointment?
Oh, astronomical. I mean, like I took 20 listings and 101 listing appointments. And now I get about 98% of the listing appointments I go on, and I sell 108 to 110 homes a year individually. So, I'm primarily a listing agent. So I tell agents all the time, the agent that's sitting here talking to you is not the agent that started whenever I started doing the 100 listing appointment challenge and built my business. I was not confident, but I got the confidence through being consistent, the word that everybody hates, consistent, role playing. I had 3 or 4 different role play partners. And so and I always tell people too, we're not reinventing the wheel here. And what we do is not rocket science. But you're right. I like that you said that we're not going to become perfect at what we do, but we're continuing to learn. And I am like a sponge. And I'm always telling agents, you have to consume information and knowledge. Like, I've had people say to me, you're like a walking, talking real estate dictionary. And I'm like, well, it's pretty much my job to know this information. And the other point that you made that I thought was amazing is that you said people don't run their business like a business. And I will say I was one of those people. I came over to do real estate full time, used to be in corporate America. And I didn't realize until I went to a Tom Ferry conference that I was not committed to my business. I was only interested. And that's one of the first questions he asked is, are you interested or you're committed? And a light bulb went off. And then when I started looking at things from a business perspective, that's when the magic happened, because I was able to look at expenses and how we're actually running our business and making sure that everything's coming from an ROI standpoint and things like that. And so I love that you touched on that and said that.
Yeah, definitely. I think that how you operate is how you organize, and how you're organized is how you perform. So, I mean, you're always gonna fall back to your systems and your processes. So, you better strengthen those. And if you have strength in how you operate your business, you will perform. You'll be better organized. You'll have more time, and ultimately, that's what we're all trying to get, is more time. And so,
100%,
So that starts from strong foundations.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And talking about, building foundations and building your business, is a lot of agents right now, if I could offer advice, is that you need to learn how to become a listing agent. You need to protect your compensations, all that, because you can control the situation. And so for those of you who are looking to get more listings and have more of those opportunities, like most people are, is you can actually go to listingleads.com and you can sign up and use the promo code Espresso, and it gives you 50% off your first month for you to have more opportunities in your business to go out and be a listing agent. So thank you so much, Jason, for being on. All the information you gave was great. If you find any value in what we gave you guys today, please be sure to follow us both on social media, reach out to us, and hopefully you found some good information.
I appreciate being on. Thanks, guys.